Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So if you have a Power BI interview coming up, then stop scrolling. What if I told you that your technical round almost always comes down to just a handful of core concepts? So today we are breaking down the top 5 DAX interview questions that hiring managers ask in almost 90% of the interviews. Okay, so master these 5 and you aren't just passing the technical round, you will be dominating it. Okay, so let's dive straight in. So coming to the first question, how do you calculate running total using DAX? Okay, so before writing the DAX, let's first understand what the interviewer is actually asking. So a running total means a cumulative total. Okay, so instead of showing only today's sales, it keeps on adding the previous sales as we move through the dates. So in simple words, today's running total will be yesterday's running total plus today's sales. Okay. So giving a small example, suppose we have a table that consists of dates and sales. So 1st of January, the sales is 100, 2nd of January, the sales is 200. Like this, we have different dates and different sales for that particular date. Okay. So we have the running total for the first date as 100. For the second date, we have running total as 300. For the third date, we have running total as 450. So what is happening here? Notice one thing, on 3rd of January, Power BI is not only showing 150, right? So it is adding 100 plus 200 plus 150, which is giving 450. Okay. So that cumulative sum is called running total. Okay. So let's understand the DAX code. So in the first step, we are simply creating a new measure named running total. Okay. So in the next step, we are using calculate function. Okay. So calculate function evaluates an expression on the basis of a filter condition. Okay. So it takes two arguments. The first argument is the expression that we want to calculate, and the second argument is the filter that filters the rows and then calculates the expression. Okay. So in our case, the expression part is sum of sales amount. Okay. So it simply adds all the sales amount values. Okay. So next we are using filter. So now we are telling Power BI that we don't want all the rows. We want only certain rows, right? The filter function decides which rows should be included. Okay. So next we are using all selected sales of date. So all selected, what it does, it removes the current row filter on the date column, but it still respects any filters that the user has selected, like a slicer. So for example, if the report is filtered to show only January, all selected will work only with the January dates and it won't include February or March. Okay. So next we are using sales of date less than equal to max of sales date. So this is the logic that creates the running total. Okay. So Power BI checks every date and it keeps only those dates that are less than or equal to the current date. So let's understand this with our example. So suppose Power BI is calculating the value for 3rd of January. So current date is 3rd January. So Power BI checks every row. Is 1st of January less than equal to 3rd of January? Yes. Is 2nd of January less than equal to 3rd of January? Yes. Is 3rd of January less than equal to 3rd of January? Yes. But is 4th of January less than equal to 3rd of January? No. Okay. So Power BI adds only these values and the running total, it calculates the running total for these particular dates where the dates are less than equal to the current date. Okay. So the running total becomes 100 plus 200 plus 150, that is equal to 450. So this becomes the running total for 3rd January. Okay. So the complete flow is very simple. Calculate, what it does, it calculates the sales on the basis of a filter condition. Sum tells Power BI what to calculate. Okay. And it holds the expression which we want to calculate. Filter decides which rows we want to keep. Okay. So all selected starts with all the selected dates from the report, ignoring the current rows date filter. Okay. And sales of date less than equal to max of sales date, it keeps all the dates up to the current date. So finally, sum adds the sales for those dates and returns the cumulative total. Okay. So coming to the next question, how do you calculate year-on-year growth? Okay. So let us first understand what the interviewer is asking. So YOY or year-on-year growth, what it does, it compares the sales of the current year. Okay. It compares the sales of the current year with the sales of the previous year. Okay, so it helps business understand whether their sales have increased or decreased compared to the last year. Okay, so in simple words, YOY growth tells us how much our business has grown compared to the same time last year. Okay, so let's understand the DAX code. So in the first step, we are creating a measure called current year sales. Okay, so the sum function adds all the values from the sales amount column. So if the report is filtered to the year 2026, this measures the total sales for the year 2026. Similarly, if the filter changes to 2025, it automatically returns the total sales for the year 2025. Okay, so if the report is showing 2026, Power BI adds all the sales values for 2026. Okay, so next we are creating a new measure called previous year sales. So calculate evaluates an expression on the basis of a filter condition. So here we are calculating sum of sales amount. In the filter part, we are using a function sample period last year date of date. So this function shifts the current date context by 1 year. Okay, so for example, if the report is showing 2026 January, it will automatically retrieve the date for the year 2025 January. Okay, so if the report is showing March 2026, it retrieves the date of the March 2025. Okay, so it always compares the same period but from the previous year. Okay, so suppose the report is currently filtered to 2026 and the current year sales measure returns the value 10 lakhs. Okay, so the previous year sales measure automatically shifts to the year 2025 and it returns rupees 8 lakhs. Okay, so we will use these two measures in the next step to calculate the year-on-year growth. So now let's calculate the year-on-year growth. So first we subtract the previous year sales from the current year sales to find the increase in the sales amount. Okay, so then we will divide the increase by the previous year sales. Okay, so we will use divide function because it safely handles division and it avoids errors if the denominator is 0. So for example, current year sales is 10 lakhs, previous year sales is 8 lakhs. Okay, so difference is 10 lakhs minus 8 lakhs, that is 2 lakhs. Okay, so the year-on-year growth is difference divided by previous year sales, that is 2 lakhs divided by 8 lakhs, which is comes around 0.25, that is 25%. So the year-on-year growth for the year 2026 will give you around 25%. Okay, so coming to the next question, how will you get the second highest sales using DAX? Okay, so the interviewer wants us to find the second highest sales from the sales table. Suppose our sales table consists of products and the sales amount for that particular product. Okay, so from this table we need to find the second highest sales, which is 600. Okay, so let's understand the DAX code. So we are creating a new measure called second highest sales. Okay, so next we are using calculate function. So calculate function evaluates an expression on the basis of a filter condition. Okay, so here we are calculating the max of sales amount, which is our expression. Okay, so this returns the maximum of sales amount after the filter is applied. So we have to apply a filter expression in the second part. So after the filter is applied, it will return the maximum of sales amount. Okay, so this is how the calculate function works. So now the filter function starts checking every row in the sales table. Okay, so the next part is sales amount is less than. Okay, so this condition tells Power BI to keep only those values that are less than the highest sales value. Okay, so calculate max of sales amount. So this part first finds the highest sales value. So in our example, the highest sales is 800. Okay, so think of this like a subquery in SQL. So this expression will be evaluated first and it will store the highest sales value from our table. Okay, so the highest sales value is 800, right? So the filter condition is now becomes sales amount is less than 800. Okay, so Power BI will check each and every row in the table. Okay, so first sales 100 is less than 800. Yes. 250, is it less than 800? Yes. 400, is it less than 800? Yes. 600, is it less than 800? Yes. 800, is it less than 800? No. So it is failing in the last condition. So notice that the highest value, that is 800, will be removed. okay, and only the remaining values will be kept. So the maximum values of these remaining values become 600, right? So Power BI now executes the expression part, that is max of sales amount, okay. So the maximum among these values is 600 as we have discussed, therefore the second highest sales will be 600, okay. So coming to the next question, how do you calculate percentage of total sales? Okay. So the interviewer wants to know what percentage each category contributes to the overall sales. Okay. So for example, if the total company sales is 10 lakhs and the laptop category contributes around 2.5 lakhs, then we want to know what percentage of total sales comes from the laptops. Okay. So we have a table that consists of all the categories, that is laptop, mobile, tablets, accessories, and the sales for each of the category. Okay. So our goal is to calculate the percentage contribution of each category to the total sales. Okay. So the formula that will be used is percentage of total is equal to category sales divided by total sales. Okay. So for laptop category, if we consider the category sales is 2.5 lakhs, it will be divided by total sales, that is 10 lakhs. Which will give 0.25, that is 25%. So the laptop contribute around 25% of the total sales. Okay. So let's understand the DAX code. So in the first step, we are creating a new measure called percentage of total sales. Okay. So in the next step, we will use the divide function because it safely performs division and it avoids errors if the denominator is 0. Okay. So the total sales, this is the numerator. Okay. So it returns the sales of the current category. Okay. So for example, if you are looking at the laptop row, it returns 2.5 lakhs. Okay. So now we are using calculate to change the filter context. Okay. So again, we are calculating the total sales measure, but we are using all sales. Okay. So this is the most important part of the formula. So all sales removes all the filters from the sales table. So instead of calculating the sales just for one category, Power BI calculates the sales for the entire table. Okay. Suppose the report is currently showing you the laptop row. Okay. So the total sales, it will show as 2.5 lakhs. But when Power BI sees all of sales, it ignores the laptop category and it looks at the sales of all the categories and calculates the total sales. Okay. So now the total sales become 10 lakhs. Okay. So final calculation, Power BI now performs the divide operation. So our numerator is the laptop sales, that is 2.5 lakhs, divided by our denominator, that is the total sales, which is 10 lakhs. So it becomes 0.25. So if the measure is formatted as percentage, it will become 25%. So the percentage contribution for laptop in the total sales is 25%. So in the same way, it will calculate the percentage contribution of each of the category for the total sales. Okay. So coming to the next question, how will you rank customers based on total sales? So the customer with the highest sales will get rank 1, the customer with the second highest sales will get rank 2, and so on. So suppose we have a table which consists of all the customer names and their total sales. Okay. So after ranking, Priya will be getting rank 1, Neha will be getting rank 2, Rahul will be getting rank 3, and Amit will be getting rank 4. Okay. So let us understand each line of the DAX code. So we are creating a new measure called customer rank. Okay. Then we are introducing a function called RANKX. So RANKX is the DAX function which is used to assign a rank to each of the customer on the basis of a particular expression. Okay. So the first argument takes the table on which we need to perform the rank function. Okay. So all removes the current customer filter so that Power BI compares the current row customer with all the other customers. Okay. So in the second expression, what we are taking the expression on which the ranking will be done. So this is the expression which will be used for ranking. So here customers are ranked based on their total sales, right? So you are giving the expression as total sales. Okay. So the next part is optional and is left blank, because Power BI uses the current value as total sales for ranking. So the values is optional. You don't have to give. And then in the next part, we are introducing DESC. DESC means descending order. So the customer with the highest sales will get rank 1, followed by the second highest sales and the third highest sales, and so on. Okay. So how does this rank function is working? Suppose the sales are Rahul, it is 90,000, Priya it's 1.5 lakhs, Amit it's 70,000 and Neha is 1.2 lakhs, right? So Power BI sorts them in descending order on the basis of their sales first. So Priya will be getting rank 1 and Neha will be getting rank 2, Rahul will be getting rank 3 and Amit will be getting rank 4. Okay. Then one important thing we must know, that RANKX, how does it handle the ties? So this is controlled by the fifth argument, where you can use skip or dense. So if two customers have the same sales, so with skip what it will do? So it is the default behavior that if both Priya and Neha get rank 1, then the next rank is 3. So the rank 2 will be skipped. Okay, if two values are having the same values and both of them gets the same rank, then the next rank will be skipped, okay, with the help of skip. But using dense, if two values are having the same rank, then it will not skip the next rank. Okay, so if sales of Priya and Neha are same, so it will give them the rank as 1, but it will continue from the second rank as well. It will not skip the rank 2. Okay. So I hope these questions helped you to level up your DAX skills. Okay. So keep practicing and good luck with your interview. So if you like this video, kindly like and subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this. Okay. It really motivates me a lot. Thank you so much.